I don't actually know where to start. Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. So today we'll be doing something slightly different. As you can see by my non-very YouTube worthy background, I have moved. Yay! I have lots of sewing projects I want to get to. There's a lot I want to do and a lot I want to share with you, and I'm just tired of not being able to sew because obviously I've had my sewing room packed up for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks now, and I just haven't been able to sew anything. I have been working on a different project. Top secret. It's knitting. But that hopefully I can share with you soon. But I do really want to get back to sewing. So the first thing we have to do to get back to sewing is to put all of this away. So I don't think I've ever done like a sewing room tour or like an organizing the sewing room with you. When I started out sewing, I would always sew from my bedroom when I lived with my parents, until eventually we managed to find a house where I could have a sewing room. So I had a small bedroom and then a sewing room next to it, and that was really, really nice. And then when I moved out, because this is such a time-consuming hobby and a space-consuming hobby, I always wanted to move out to a place that allowed me to do that, and I was willing to sacrifice on location and things like that to make sure I had a little bit more room. And so we've managed to find a place that does allow me to have a sewing room, or continue to have a sewing room, which I'm very grateful and thankful for. So let's organize it, I guess. Okay. So a little bit of context. This is a rented property, so there's not a lot I can do to it in terms of like painting or really decorating or whatever, and that has been the case so far with every single property we've been in. However, we do have permission to sort of fix it up a little bit but in particular there are lots of places that have dents and scratches and things that I can fill and paint over and, you know, decorate a tiny little bit, but we are still limited. But I thought today we could get the brunt of the work done, so that means unpacking boxes, trying to figure out a general layout, and then hopefully I can include some nice little decorating at the end of the video. So let me give you a small tour of my fort of boxes. So this is the doorway. It's a very small house, so you'll have to excuse some of these angles. But this is the doorway, and then immediately as you walk in, you have a pallet of rolls, which were very hard to transport from Scotland. And then we have a Kallax bookshelf, boxes on it, my screen, and then we walk in and we have a radiator. And I have temporarily put in, I found in my sewing room so far, something that's really useful is back of door storage. I usually put up my crinoline there because I can't fit it anywhere. And I also put up whatever like sewing projects I'm working on at the moment. I find it's really easy to just keep them hanging up there, out of the way, or things that need fixing, things like that. And then we have the Kallax bookshelf here, bunch of boxes. Then I've temporarily set up the ironing board because I wanted to iron my shirt before I filmed this video, but I haven't, so whatever. There's a storage cupboard in here. It's really poorly insulated. It actually, I think, connects down to the cupboard staircase area. I have put some boxes in there, but they're plastic boxes with some bits that I can show you later, and my bootstrap dress form is in there for now. Then we have more boxes. We have my current dress form, a hat that never fits in any boxes. We have my antique dresses, small collection in that box over there. And then we have my mirror, more boxes, and the other half of the mirror. And then over here we have a disassembled wardrobe that I'll still need to put up. I can't do that by myself. And then some shelves, more shelves, drawers, sewing machine. Where's the other one? Oh, where's the other one? Sewing machine. Oh, sewing machine, lol. Snacks, and yeah, so this is the space. I've put the desk by the window because obviously when you're sewing you need some natural light. The view out of there isn't great, I'll show you. So the view out of the window is actually to the neighbor's garden. This is our own little garden here, but as you can see it hasn't been done anything with, and we need to do up the house first and then we'll get to the garden. I also have this really ugly antenna here that I'm hoping we can dispose of because we don't actually watch TV. So, well, I mean, yeah, I watch streaming services, you know. And then we have this really lovely fireplace, which as you can see needs to be like done up a little bit and painted over. So that's something I'm hoping to do soon as well. And we have my little shelf here that I really love. And yeah, so let me try and see where I can set you up, because I've also not found my tripod yet. Okay, this might have to do, you guys. So let's get to it. I don't actually know where to start. Let's do the desk, that's easy. Let's just pause here because I wanted to show you one of the best things I ever bought. This is the Costumery all polyester, all sewing thread, whatever. And this cost like £20 or so, maybe. But it has thread samples of most of their shades. And this has been so useful during the pandemic, and when I've been like unable to go to a fabric shop, I can take my fabric, match it as best as I can, and order the thread online. Highly recommend. Hello friends, so it's been a little while since the last footage for this. I feel like the last thing I showed you was me putting up these pictures on the wall. What kind of happened was I finished setting up the room, immediately got to sewing and forgot about this video. Just, you know, just get excited to make things. So I thought today I would just show you through the room as it is set up. It is as tidy as it will ever be, being a sewing room. But yeah, I thought we could do a quick tour and hopefully I think this setup is nice. Okay, let's go. Just realised the neighbours are listening to very loud music, so hopefully you can't hear that at all. But here it is, so you walk through the doorway and first thing up is my screen. I use this for like when I try to take photos or filming or whatever, just to give a nicer, cleaner background. And then this is the back of my background. I thought this was the best way to arrange the room. And then over here we have the radiator, which kind of ruined my plans to set up stuff. And this shelf, which used to be in the background of my videos, and I really liked it like that. It looked a little bit like a haberdashery or like a candy shop with all the silk threads and stuff, but I don't really have anywhere to put it, and I don't know, give me a suggestion down below if you find anywhere in the room where it would look nice. Yeah, and then we have the ironing board set up over here. I think I'll just do a quick, so you can see the full of it, and then we can do little sections. Okay, so over here we have the ironing board. It's really important, I always have it out because when you're sewing you need to press everything. And then we have a cupboard over here, which I think I mentioned before. At the moment it has empty boxes, my spare dress form, which is my boot straps that I made myself. It has a bunch of boxes with costumes in, and a bunch of those like vacuum pack boxes with more costume, vacuum pack bags with costumes in, and other things that I don't use as often, like my heat gun, which I had for like Warbler and cosplay and stuff, and my dye pot and dyes, just stuff that is used to live on top of this wardrobe actually in Glasgow. So over here we have my wardrobe. So in my first flat, the room I was in actually had inbuilt wardrobe, so I didn't need this. This was my normal clothes wardrobe. And then when we moved to Glasgow, that got swapped around. The wardrobe itself is really messy, so please forgive, but here we go. Ta-da! These are my costumes. Some of them, I guess, I don't really know what the criteria is from being here into a box, but I guess these are the most recent, or the ones I've worn the most recently, I guess. Including a couple of cosplays on this end, and then we kind of have, yeah, so those are the only cosplays here at the moment. When I moved from Glasgow, I packed up a lot of the cosplays, so they're mostly in that wardrobe because there's only 2 cons a year, so I wear these even less, to be honest. These don't go out at all, but here we are. We have a medieval kirtles over here because I love them, and I guess I will be making more. We have an 18th century dress that I made a while back that is really messy, but I really want to fix one day because I love the fabric, but that one day just never seems to happen. Then we have my 1830s witch, my 1880s Jane, my 1890s walking suit, an early Edwardian skirt and cape, my 1905 morning dress, and then my graduation dress, and something I'm working on that I haven't finished yet. And then we have a bunch of undergarments, including chemises, petticoats, more petticoats. The petticoats is like falling apart. And then at the bottom here, I just have a bunch of fabric rolls that were too big to put elsewhere. There's like 2 or 3 with bits that I don't really know, like bigger chunks of fabric that I don't actually have a use for yet. And that is it for the wardrobe. Oh no! Oh, my 1830s petticoats are attacking me. Get in there. Come on. Oh Jesus, like it never happened. These sleeves just, come on. Get in there. Whew. And then this side is just fabric, you guys. It's just fabric. When I was unpacking, I was kind of hectic and I just wanted to get everything out of the boxes and out of the way, so I didn't really organize it properly. But usually the way I do it is I have utility fabrics over here. This includes my lightweight and heavyweight linen, interfacings, canvas, all that kind of stuff that's more like utility fabrics. Why am I panting? Then over here we have like sort of, it's a mix. There's pretty fabrics, really pretty fabrics that I do actually have plans for, but I just never get around to them. Like I have this fabric here, which was for an 1890s evening dress, but I just never got around to it. Maybe I'll do it this year. not enough time. And then we have a bunch of silks. I basically hoard silks. Whenever I find a good deal, I get them, and then I'm too afraid to use them, so they just sit here. And then just a bunch of random cottons and smaller cuts of fabric on this side. This is wools and wool blends and stuff, so that's all in here. And then there's my overlocker at the bottom there, and just more random fabric, and my little portable steamer. Useful. And then you can't quite see, let me angle you up. Bam. So over here I have my vintage costumes box. It's the only place I could really keep it. And then a smaller box with other bits, a cover for my sewing machine, a spare light, an embroidery project, and a bustle cage. Stuff that doesn't fit and I just threw up over there. Don't worry, this is a really sturdy box and there's nothing really heavy on it, so I'm being quite careful with that. And then I keep a box with every single fabric sample that I've ever gotten, and I also take a small sample of every fabric that I use, and then I put it up there, just for my own reference, you know, I'm a bit of a hoarder. And then on the side of this bookshelf, I put a pegboard with a bunch of stuff. I did this in Glasgow. It was actually hanging off the side of my desk, but it works really well. So I just have all of my scissors here, hammer, if you know, you know, my rulers, and a bunch of really useful pattern pieces that I use a lot, including my pocket, my Victorian pocket, and my skirt placket. Just a bunch of useful hand sewing threads here, and like just bits. It's really useful to keep that stuff handy. Over here we have my bookshelf. As you see, it's quite full, and I already had to move some dress history books downstairs, but yeah, so I tried to organize them, but then I didn't really. I don't know. The last bookshelf there is just all of my patterns, like self-drafted patterns that I've made. Over here we have my desk. I try to keep it as clear as possible because obviously you need the space for actual sewing. But usually there is one machine on it, and then I have my sort of pens and tools there, more random tools, and then just clutter, because that's who I am, you guys. That's who I am. Okay, let's try to find an angle for the rest of it. Okay, so this is my main storage bit. I have this beautiful thing which I got secondhand off Facebook Marketplace in Glasgow as well. Got some good deals there, you know. And here I have random bits of haberdashery, like this one's just hooks and eyes. Then the spare space for my sewing machine, and then the other sewing machine, which is just mostly decorative. I've used it once. And then starting from this end, we have a box full of lace, which is this one here. We have my sort of commercial / vintage patterns there. They are a bit squashed. I need to find a better place for them. Over here we have scraps of fabric. These are scraps that are too small to make anything with, but they're useful for mending, or like smaller bits like cabbage, whatever. And then over here we have synthetic fabrics, which includes a bunch of velvets and satins and just a bunch of different fabrics that were from leftover projects as well, but that are big enough to make stuff out of. And then over here, which you can't quite see, but don't worry, you're not missing out, is just a pile of calico and mock-up fabrics. So they're like old sheets, some poly cotton that I have that's very old and very useless for anything else, and just some calico for that. And then here we have random craft drawer, which includes, now it's just mostly knitting, to be honest. I just have a bunch of yarn in here because I do that now. And then it includes like just some random stuff. Mostly yarn, some horsehair braid in there. I don't know. I need to organize this better, but I also can't be bothered, you know? I know what's in there roughly. And then this one is my cottons and linens. Everything in here is 100% cotton or 100% linen. And the smallest cut in here I think is 1 meter. And then the last one is random synthetic fabrics again. Great, I forgot this one existed. Really quick tour. So, thank you so much for coming along this journey. If you have any suggestions for like organization, optimizing space, where the heck I can put that shelf I showed you earlier, please drop me a comment. I sometimes get really overwhelmed by all the things that could happen, all the possibilities, and I end up getting stuck. But at the moment it is how it is, and it is a really nice space. I'm very grateful for it. I, like most people, started sewing in my bedroom, in my one small tiny desk, and I'm really grateful that I've come this far to be able to have a room for this, which makes me very happy. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Please drop me a comment below with suggestions, and I will see you next week. you.